Proceed to make our section. First section is going to be right along this center area. So instead of using this just like how we did and rotate it around, what I would like you to do is to delete that and go into the the right view. Okay. And when we go into the right view, you should be able to make clipping plane in the right view. So clipping plane in the right view, right above or right through your building, and everything over here disappeared. Of course, you select that and then make sure your property on that thing, all of the perspective top front is all selected, and notice that everything disappeared. Okay, that is because the clipping plane was made on the right C-plane. Okay, that means that XYZ coordinate, the clipping plane, when we went into the right view, it made it right over here, and where you made your model is right on the C-plane, right where that thing was. So what we have to do is to move this object, and since our object was what, 24 feet, I'll move it 12 foot. Oops. Oh, sorry, it wasn't there, was it? We moved it outside. So if we drag it along, we should be able to find it somewhere. I forgot we moved it off the XYZ coordinate origin point. So if we drag it along the red axis, you should find this thing. Okay? And then what we're going to do is to use our isoplane and kind of eyeball. You could get it exactly, but we're going to go right to the middle of that glass, or as close to it as you can. Zoom out and then go into the right viewport. Right viewport right there. And instead of selecting, well, let's select everything. Select everything in that viewport and make 2D. Okay, and then let's check what happened. Oops. So it looks like if we, the RNO was having a hard time locating, or when I did the windows to select, it was having a hard time selecting everything. So if I go ahead and select by crossing, that means it selects everything. Okay, and then that way I could just make 2D of that. Let me get rid of that. So in the right view, if I go crossing instead of window and then make 2D, it should get everything. Sometimes if you're not careful, your clipping plane will twist. Let me move my section out of the way. We'll move it up and over a little bit. Sometimes a mistake will happen where you just inadvertently kind of move this just a little bit. Whoops, Control Z. If you kind of move it like, let's say 30 degrees, and I'm just exaggerating right now, but if I happen to rotate this thing, you know, with the gumball, when I try to take this, when I try to take a section cut right here, make 2D, that'll get me that section of whatever that has been cut. So it doesn't really look like, doesn't look too much different, because it's hard to tell when you see through the paper model thing. So I guess this isn't a very good example of that, of how not to do drawing, but let's see. Right here, it's cut through the stair, right? And so right here on the top, on the section Make 2D, that's the part that it's cut through. So the real one, if it was straight across, it should have cut across, a little bit higher on the steps. Okay, so be careful about twisting this view. Get rid of that, and then I'm going to get rid of this for now because I really messed that one up. And then what I'm going to do is to go and make the second section, the cross section and the transverse section. So you have section one direction and then the other. And this time I'm going to try to get a section right through the stairs. So that means that I'm going to be in the front view so that I could cut through a section of this stair right here. So make the clipping plane and then select that object, or select the clipping plane there. And then in my perspective view, I could move that, or in the right view, I could move that arrow so that it's catching the stairs. And of course, if I show the show the views, I might have a better chance at it, right? So right here, cutting across the stairs, and let's see, maybe I want to cut across one of the glass as well. So if I bring it about the halfway point of the stairs, I should have about the halfway point of the glass as well. Okay, and down here I should have a section of this glass as well. Alright, so that's the view, and then so I'm supposed to be in the front view. And so since I'm in the front view, I'm going to take the clipping plane, I'm sorry, not the clipping, Make 2D in the front view itself. So in this view, I'm going to select by crossing and then Make 2D. So in the active front view, Make 2D. And then there is my 2D view. Now, did you get what I get right here? Notice that part of this thing, the drawing that I made, is missing, right? I'll click that right there. So part of the section is missing right here. I should see all of this stuff, but I don't. The reason for that is that my clipping plane is here. If I move it front, notice that the drawing, the 2D version, would show. So whatever is behind the clipping plane will disappear. And that's one of the things that we really have to be careful with, because if we're doing a clipping plane, and let's see, just as an example, this clipping plane right here, I have it so that it's viewing it towards the stairs that way, right? If I wanted to flip the direction of that so that it's looking the other direction, like so, all I have to do is click this flip direction switch. But the problem is now all the 2D drawings that I made disappear. And a lot of people who aren't used to this thing, and I surprise myself sometimes, where, oh my gosh, my drawing it's not appearing. It's probably because it is behind the clipping plane. So if I make sure that this clipping plane is gone after I make my drawing, Make 2D, then everything should be copacetic and happy. Okay?